as a spectator from the box?
Yeah, probably a little bit. I mean, we can still use our runner at the moment, so that means you've still got something to do, I suppose. But you practice for those scenarios a lot, and they don't happen that often. But clearly, when they do, they're pretty important moments. So you fall back on your training a little bit, and to be honest, we fall back on some of our disappointments. We were on the wrong end of quite a few of those last year, so they're really painful at the time, but you learn from them and you then train it, and it's great for the players to be on the right side of one of those really close games when it looked like it had slipped away from us.
Pretty incredible second half from Shaun Higgins.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, he gets tagged, he gets buffeted, he gets a lot of attention, and he just fights his way through it consistently. He's certainly a premier midfielder in the competition. In my view, he's had a fantastic 2018 and was a big part of the difference tonight.
Is it just his body getting healthier? It seems to have been a stunning rise from when he was playing at the Dogs to now.
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I think that he's grown as a person. I've said on a number of occasions he's a consummate professional, as good as I've seen. He's as important off the field to us as he is on. He's a critical component of our leadership group, and he's just a great role model for all our young players with the way he prepares. And so even taking out the incredible on-field performances he gives us, he's just an absolute gem for us off-field. And then, clearly his performance speaks for itself.
You won centre clearances convincingly. I think scored 3 goals as well. That probably hasn't been a strength early. So what was the difference tonight?
They set up a little bit differently and sort of enabled us to sort of set our forward line up a little bit, one-on-one, which often Ben Brown doesn't get. I mean, he got it from centre bounces. He didn't get it the rest of the game. So they were pretty good at coming back in front of him. And, he fought his way through Brownie because he was, certainly double-teamed, triple-teamed at times. They dropped their ruck back in front of him, and he just keeps fighting through. So he doesn't whinge and complain, he just gets on with it. And to finish with 5 and a pretty important score assist or goal assist in the last 40 seconds was pretty important.
Well, what did you do differently in the second half with Hayden Crozier?
Look, I thought he was very good in the first half, but it wasn't what we did to curtail him specifically. It was more all of their defenders, because they were able to clean up our entries really easily in the first half, and I just thought we were able to improve that part of the game. So it wasn't necessarily just focusing on Crozier. It was Johannesson and all the other guys who were back there and able to clean up our entries.
Kane Turner seemed to have that job though.
Yeah, he's very, very good at that. But again, we like to have a flexible forward half, so it can't just be left to him all the time. But when you ask him to focus on something, he's like a dog with a bone. He's a terrific young player and a very underrated player externally, but highly rated internally.
And the move to put Zeeble into the middle was obviously a pretty pivotal one at the end as well.
Yeah, if it works, it's a good move. I've said a number of times, I still see him as a probably at least 50-50 inside midfielder forward. Part of the reason for playing him more forward has been to build our midfield and build our versatility and depth through there. But we've also seen that when he's forward, we look a lot more competitive forward of the ball. He's got that great versatility now, and I think there are a number of players in the competition who can do that, go inside and make a difference and kick 3 goals as well when they go deep forward.
4 umpires tonight, maybe a few strange decisions. Thoughts on the 4 umpires and anything more broadly, anything more specifically than that tonight?
No, we've had 4 umpires in previous years, I'm pretty sure. I think everyone's talking about it now, but I'm pretty sure it's happened. So I'm all for trialling things, and to be honest, I defy anyone who goes, other than the umpires' coaches, to go and watch umpire positioning. So the only issue in my mind with 4 umpires is, do they get in the way a little bit? But I didn't think they did tonight. So if they don't get in the way, more eyes on the contest and in front of the ball, behind the ball is probably a better thing.
AJ took some composed marks. So how have you seen his development?
Yeah, he had a bit of a sore foot a month ago, and after his probably meteoric rise from sometimes forward, sometimes ruckman to permanent defender, was halted a little bit just with that foot issue. But he's over that now, and we settled him down tonight. Played him spurts in the ruck, but mostly as a defender, and he was critical in that last quarter, particularly early. But he would say himself that it's unbelievable for him playing next to Robbie Tarrant and Scott Thompson.
Can you give us an update on Hartung, Jacobs, and even Ben Mackay from earlier today?
Hartung, I can. He looks to have a hamstring injury. I'm not sure of the severity, but they ruled him out pretty quickly. So we'll get him, try and actually get him scanned as soon as possible and give you an update on that. But yeah, I mean, when they come off and they're ruled out quickly, you think that he's going to miss a little bit of footy. Ben Mackay, we don't have an update on yet, but again, he was trying to get back on the ground, but unfortunately we decimated our VFL team. We took him off. Durden had a poke in the eye. He couldn't come back on, and then we took David Loader's best VFL player off at half time. So who'd want to coach the VFL? Who was the other one you asked about?
Jacobs.
Oh, Jacobs, yeah. As I mentioned pre-game, it's a strange one. I'm not being evasive, and I'm really conscious of giving you the information that I have. And it's as simple as he presented post-training with concussion symptoms. And I was as perplexed as anyone because he trained really well, and he trained Monday and Wednesday, and we're coming off a bye. And we can't pinpoint an exact incident that's happened, but whether it's the accumulation of a number of knocks or whether it was one significant incident earlier in the year, we're not sure. But the reality is he had symptoms. So the doctor said he's happy to give him up until game time, but today he was feeling much better. And again, it's a really tough call for the docs. But I think when they're not 100% sure on clearing him to play, they rule him out. So that's as far as the discussion went.
Concussion's a pretty scary condition, for football at the moment, isn't it? I mean, obviously Michael Close within your bigger, wider club has obviously gone through something pretty scary.
Yeah, Closey's was a scary one, that's for sure. And when it gets to that level, if footy's the last thing on your mind, it's just purely about making a full recovery. So the doctors do a really good job on that now, and maybe 20 years ago that the coach would have input, but I just listen. And at times, even talking to Ben, I just stressed to him that if we have any doubts, even if the doc's clear, if we have doubts, we won't play you. Because, even for the short term, because for the team's sake, that if he went into the game tonight and had a really minor knock, but felt a bit fuzzy, the docs would have to rule him out for the rest of the game anyway. So we're just not going to play anyone who's not quite right.
Right. Can you give us a little bit of an insight into that? So that last play, I mean, is it in the playbook pre-season and you put it away? Do you train it every week? I mean, for those sort of set plays and those instances, how much effort does go in?
Yeah, a lot more effort than the time it takes for the play to unfold, that's for sure. But we had, by the nature of some close losses last year, plenty of time to go back and analyse those losses, analyse what we could have done better defensively, but also on the flip side, like if we're in this position where we're behind with less than a minute to go, what do we want to do and what are the priorities? But again, you can train that all you like, you still need to be able to execute it, and we certainly don't train Ben Brown toe pokes and those sorts of things. So the good players throughout history love the big moments, and we had a couple of players today that in the big moments they stood up.
We've seen these sorts of games, these sorts of wins be really crucial for teams in the final makeup. Does it feel that little bit more important right now?
It may in the fullness of time. I can't say right now where it sits, but there are always games you look back on throughout the year and think, well, gee, we weren't super in that particular game, but we just found a way to win. And today was, because I thought the Dogs were really, really good, and they really challenged us. It's probably a good lead into our next week's game, because they really moved the ball quickly and looked to challenge us off half back, and they've had their well-documented challenges over the last 9 days, and to their credit, guys who were injured, some came up and played. They lost some, they replaced them with others, and I thought they'd be sitting there feeling really disappointed because they didn't get full reward for their effort. But that it's not that we were poor; it's that they were good, and we had to respond.